Hello, Jeff Africa, J Africa's Last Dance channel, where we make it to the heart, out of the mind, into the heart, live, perceive, love life from that perspective, from that opening. I felt it before. That's where we're going. We're going to be a heart-centered human being, no longer an ego mind. That's going to be in the background, in the back seat. We're chucking that thing right into the back seat, okay? And we're going to be driving with the heart when we get there, okay? Okay, so we went through, firstly, calm myself down. I'm a little bit antsy. It's funny, when I do these videos, I feel as though there are all my 10 people that out there. I'm doing them right in front of them. I don't realize I'm just doing it into a camera, but I get nervous about talking, it's funny. Okay, so we did the heart practices. I told you, I did the review. I wanted to make sure we get that in stone. What that's all about, okay? What magnetizing the heart is all about. These are just the beginning, okay? All the things I do to begin to magnetize that heart, okay? To draw that consciousness into that heart area. Now, we haven't really done exactly what I mean by, remember I said we're going to do this by magnetizing the heart, drawing our consciousness down there, and demagnetizing the mind so we can get that loosened up, so we have that consciousness can fall down into that heart and begin living and perceiving life from that heart chakra, okay? Okay, firstly, this is what I always say. There will be no work done here today. There will be no discipline required, effort expended. For as I fall back into these exercises and relax, staying in each breath, staying in each moment, each and every movement in love and in joy, ever the sharp eye to slow everything down, creating inner space so the universe can come to me, work through me, doing these exercises for me and for the larger community. No, there will be no discipline required here today. Okay, that's what I say before I do. Actually, not so much this, but before I do the exercises. The exercises, the meditations and the breathing and the energization and everything I do, I begin it with that. And that is the way forward. As I've said before, a lot of people don't want to do the stuff. They look at it as the effort they have to do. Okay, I have to do this. But by bringing that home, bringing that statement, I just said home, you learn how to do these things effortlessly as you stay in each breath, you stay in each moment. Ever the sharp eye to slow everything down, each and every movement in love and enjoy. What I learned on some of the psychedelic trips I've taken is that you get to a point, especially in that soft area after the initial spiritual ecstasy, where even your movement, as you go around the apartment or wherever you're at, your movements even become a form of artistic expression. The way you reach for things, the way you wash things or play things, whatever it is, even your movements become a source of artistic expression. That's how sensitive you get, and that's how it will be for us, especially when we get into the fifth dimension. That's how sensitive things are going to be when we get there, okay? Even our movements are going to be a form of artistic expression in a way. Talk about living as art. That's why they call Sri Ravi Shankar's organization the art of living. True living is truly an art. It truly is, okay? And that's when life gets exciting, when you get out of the mundane and you begin to recognize in the moment that life is an artistic expression in so many different ways. The way you handle things and all that, all things in life become an artistic expression, okay? So, so I went to take my car to get it fixed. I had to have a little bit of work done. And I'm walking out, it was in the morning. It was gonna take an hour and a half to get that work done. I can't go anywhere. I have to wait there because it's just far away. I'm not gonna go anywhere and then go back. I don't have any way of doing that anyway. So I walked out and there's this junkyard over there, old gate open junkyard. I start to walk in there and this guy comes up from behind me and goes, hey, may I help you? Kind of a little rough, and I said, well, I was just going to go in there, check the cars. Well, you can't go in there because for insurance reasons, this and that, and so on and so forth. So I go, okay. A few minutes later, he's pulling a car. I was walking, reading this magazine. He was, he drove this car into his shop, kind of, and I thought he was going into the shop, okay? So I started to walk behind that car, kind of absentmindedly reading the magazine. And apparently he was going to move that car backward again. It was just an initial movement to get that car up to that shop, but he was going to pull it backward. and he saw me behind him. He comes out of that car. He goes, "Will you please not walk around here and let me, and interrupt and get in my way?" Kind of yelling and screaming just like that. You're a bit much, And so I just looked at him. I just looked at him and said, I went like this. My hands were down, but I kind of, keep it down, buddy. Just keep it down. And then I just nodded my head. I go, all right, I'll be more careful. And that's all I did. And nowhere in me was the desire to strike back. Years ago I would have, what the hell, I was stricken back. But there was just that openness in me to kind of say, calm down, buddy, and okay, I'll be a little bit more careful. And that's how that exchange went. Now, I know from experience that guys like that do stuff like that, if you don't respond, they're going to feel like crap. They really are. They're going to feel lousy, and they're going to want to make it up to you by being a little bit nicer to you because this is human nature. I've went through that myself plenty of times. I blew up at somebody and they kind of, were kind of cool about it. And I said, oh shit, man, that wasn't that great. He went through that too. And so they end up, acting a little bit differently when that happens. Very rarely will it become worse unless you get a real bully or something that's not, psycho or something like that. But so these little things, are big things, to me. I just kind of totally kept my cool, and I didn't have to try to do it. It was just my nature at the moment to do that, to keep it cool. And it was a real big win for me. One time I had a big green drink. Okay, I make these green drinks and stuff like that. It's early in the morning. I had to go to my car. I got in. I sat in the car, and my elbow jostled in something, and the green drink, half of it spilled out all over the place. I mean, my pants, my shirt, everything was all over this. And normally we would go, God, that sort of thing. Holy, that sort of thing. And I just looked at the mess I just created, and I needed it, and I just calmly got out of the car and calmly straightened things out the best I could, and then got back in the car and then went on my way. But that seems like a small thing, but that's a big thing. I didn't do what normal people would have done at that point. I just kind of. I didn't put myself through that, okay? I let it, I just let me apprehend the mess I just made and kept calm and cool about it and cleaned it up to what I could do at the time. When I got to work, I finished it up. But I just didn't react the way all of us, normally react. And it was that was another small victory. Okay, these little small victories aren't small. They're big victories when we learn how to stay calm and centered in the face of certain things. That's just two stories of me heading in the right direction. Okay, inspirational stories right then and there. Okay, so now. Demagnetizing the mind. We went through magnetizing the heart, and it's only the beginning, but it's how these. I told you what I do when I magnetize that heart. Now, what does demagnetizing the mind mean? Okay, obviously, if I've told you that 90% of the things that go through a human being's mind are bullshit, are almost totally useless, things that just keep us in the mode that we're in. When I told you that we're hypnotized and in some respect addicted to this three-dimensional illusion, when I tell you that we then begin creating all these ego-backed delusions because of this hypnotization and this addiction to this 3D illusion. Okay, so obviously the 90% of the things that go on in our heads, we're going to have to take apart, right? And we're going to have to come up with ways of letting them go. All those thoughts and all the things that go through our head only keep us in this lower vibrational frame. Okay, so they're and like I say, they're all based on delusions. So if we're going to learn how to be, if we're going to learn how to become more than we are in a spiritual sense, we're going to have to learn to let those things go. Okay? We get overly involved, emotionally and dramatically involved in nothing more than what is an illusion. When I see some of the TV shows I've seen, when people are doing just that, they're getting dramatically and overly involved in things that aren't real. They truly aren't real. I've lost my taste for those drama shows, movies or whatever. I've just lost my taste for them because it doesn't appeal to me anymore, the drama of it all. Because I know what a lost cause those things truly are. They truly are a lost cause. Okay, then we have also the internal dialogue. Now, internal dialogue is a big thing. Even Carlos Castaneda, Don Juan, that was big with them. And the internal dialogue that we keep going, running thing in our minds. Okay, all the time talking to ourselves. And that's an aspect of third dimensional reality. Okay, that's just something we all have to contend with. Even some of the gurus I've come across said, look, at stopping the internal dialogue is difficult. Sudarshan Kriya, when you do breath work, okay, you will get into a place that goes beyond that internal dialogue for a certain amount of time, okay. But internal dialogue is a prolific, persistent thing to have to contend with. It's not easy. When I meditate, the whole idea is to stop that internal dialogue. I have gotten to the point where I can have no thoughts. I kind of go beyond the mind, especially after Sudarshan Kriya, by the way, and I can go to a place in no mind and let that internal dialogue stop, and I'm completely silent, okay? But then, after about 30, 40 seconds, a thought or ribbon will come in, and I'll do it a little bit. But I greatly reduce the internal dialogue. That's a lot of what meditation is about: is to stop that or let that internal dialogue portion of ourselves, always thinking, always wondering, always go away, always involved in things that aren't real, is basically that are simply no good to us or for us. So internal dialogue is a big thing. When we get to the fifth dimension, there won't be that kind of internal dialogue. There's going to be a new reality. And when we think of beingness, the whole thing into getting into the fifth dimension is a matter of beingness. Okay, our beingness is going to be much, much greater than it is right now. And when we think of beingness, we think, how can we be? How can we be? Which is a simple term, but it is profound. It is extremely profound if our minds are talking all the time, okay? In a way you can. It's a prerequisite almost to beingness, is to dampen, eliminate as much as you can that internal dialogue. Whenever I got in the sacred moment, and I have gotten in the sacred moment a few times with psychedelics, there was no talking inside. It was a whole different reality. It was a beingness thing. And as we move into beingness, constantly have our minds talking to us is going to be hamper that ability to get into that beingness. All right? And Eckhart Tolle made a very wise observation. He was very, love that guy. Just love that little imp of a guy. He said that when we're driving down the road, we noticed that, the kind of the crazy people that are all pushing a cart, all messed up, and they're talking to themselves, yelling and screaming, and we look at them and go, what a crazy bastard that guy is. This is the old way of looking at it. Now I don't think of it, but God, he's scary, that crazy guy. But he made the point is we do the exact same thing that guy is doing, but we do it silently. We don't let anybody know. And that's exactly right. As well situated as I am, many times in my life, I was just like that guy. I said, that crazy bastard. In my own head, spinning these hateful, pissed off, detrimental things because of something that happened. But we don't yell and scream it out. You know what I mean? We do it inside our heads, and that was a wonderful observation, and that's so true. And that's the real negative part of internal dialogue when we really get it going. These constant thought processes keep us really from knowing keep us in a low vibrational state that keep us from knowing our own divine nature. Okay, we have a divine nature within our hearts. Okay, and these thought processes are keeping us from ever getting there. and seeing, number one, our spiritual power. We are incredibly spiritually powerful beings, and we don't know it. We are really, truly children of God with unlimited potential, and we're a version of God, a localized, physicalized, personalized version of God. Really, we have a whole universe within us, okay? But being stuck in the mind, being hooked to the mind, being magnetized in the mind, keeps us from knowing what we truly are, okay? And we truly are much greater than we realize, and we're going to find out in the coming years how great we truly are. Something that's really a surprise to me. Let me tell you, I've led a dark life, and that's one of the reasons I had no idea what my true nature really was. I thought that I was just this ego mind, and it was a drag, an incredible drag to be in that state. The internal dialogue and the way we are hypnotized to our minds and magnetized in there prevents us from seeing the much greater reality and much greater of who we truly are. We are God, essentially. We are versions of God. And we have all the powers, creative powers God has. And we all have that waiting for us as we get into the heart and out of the mind. Do you understand that? We waste some of the things that we waste time on, and what keeps us magnetized to our mind are basically the fact that we think we need something. Okay, we need this. We need love. Somebody. We need something from somebody. We need recognition. We need acclaim. We need love from somebody else. We need this. We need acceptance. We need or superiority. Do you know how much time is wasted trying to be superior to something else? You know, people waste their whole lives in this idea of trying to be superior and do things that proclaim their superiority. Okay, and the truth is there is no such thing as superiority. It's a big stinking illusion that doesn't exist. But we waste our time trying to be superior. We want to be superior to counteract our insecurities and our fearfulnesses and our smallnesses and all the things that our ego mind tells us that we are. Okay, that's what trying to be superior is all about. Okay, it's a counterweight. It's an ego mind driven counterweight to our vast insecurities and smallnesses as a being trapped in, a prisoner of the mind, magnetized to that mind, okay? And it's one of the biggest illusions you can think of, the idea of superiority, okay? And it's just a total, complete waste of time, yet everybody wastes so much of their life trying to be superior to those around them as a proof that they're really whatever it is they think they are, okay? Disunity. We think that we're separate from everybody. We think we're separate from creation. We think we're separate from God, separate from each other, separated in our own small little world. As I told you before, I go around in the markets. I watch everybody. I see everybody. They're all in their minds separated from everybody else. Okay, and that is in the mind. Today, in America especially, the the separation that we have from everybody is nothing more than people being stuck in their minds. That's all it is. And then they get into either political philosophy or other things that they identify with too much, and there's somebody that doesn't think that same way, so they're over there, we're over here, they're assholes and we're good, and then the other people think exactly the same way. That's what is keeping us apart. And then the whole all the things going on these days that are it seems like there's forces in this society trying to keep us separated, just when we should all be joining hands and moving forward. That's what we have to do right now. There seems to be, especially from our academic community, they're coming up with ways, whether it's CRT, critical race theory, or the transgender issues that they're overplaying, racial issues, white privilege issues, whatever it is. These are all designed to keep us separate, and you got to want to know who is driving this. Why is this happening right at the moment when we need to all join hands with everybody? Forget about the past. The past is over. Look forward. Let's look forward. We need to learn from the past, but let's look forward and move forward. Just when we need to do that, where they're throwing at us all these ideas of separation that are and that are going to keep us separated. And these are stemming from the intellectual minds of our academic community. Because they're stupid, all right? They really are. What we're seeing in America today is the failure of pure intellectualism to get us anywhere. Pure intellectualism with no spirituality to it, no spiritual underpinning, no God-centered understandings. It's really what's going on in America today is the failure of pure intellectualism, because it's just mischief. It truly is just mischief. Our insecurities, we are all insecure in our minds. We won't be insecure when we get to the heart, okay? But we are insecure in our mind. Fearfulness, that's another aspect of mind operation. Fear comes from the mind. It doesn't come from the heart. When we're in the heart, and I've been there, we're in an extremely secure place, and it is really wonderful. Then you talk about being able to move forward in life at that point and have everything in life be a positivity, and everything in life to be everything to gain and nothing to lose. Okay, that's where we're going. Okay, every moment. I've felt that before. Like I say, a few times in my teen years, I fell into who I was supposed to be. And I'm talking about maybe hours in my whole life, a few hours, when I fell into the person I was supposed to be, and there were no problems. Really, there's no need, there's no superiority, there's no disunity, no insecurities, no fears, no nothing. And I thought, wow, this is easy. All I have to do is get a little job and other things in life, and I'll be fine. But those moods, those things lasted a very short amount of time. Then they were gone, and then I fell into a big, deep hole at 19, 20, right around there, and those were just a distant memory. Okay, and so it's there. It's there, and it's a matter of recapturing it and more. And that wasn't even all of it, but that was interesting to know that there are those moods and those emergences and those states of being that are really something else, and that's what life is all about. Unfortunately, my life hasn't been anything like that, but it's starting to be that way now. See, isn't that exciting? And when I get there, like I say, the contrast from the trouble that I've had my whole life is going to feed the wonderfulness, the joyfulness of what we truly are, and having that contrast is going to even make it more precious. These new ways that we're headed toward. All right, and even great people who have done great things. Remember, I was saying a couple videos ago, if all you do is great things and you stay an ego mind, you stay a disappointment as far as I'm concerned. I personally don't care what you've done. I don't care. I never met a famous person I really cared about. Are you still an ego mind and all that crap, or aren't you? Okay, if you look, I was Dylan and Lennon. I watched a video of John Lennon and Dylan in a car, and Dylan was he was drunk or whatever, and he was the height of his fame, right there. He had that look, and he was kind of an asshole. He was as much of an asshole as any guy you would ever want to see in a street. You know what I mean? John Lennon, too. So caught in the ego mind bullshit, the voice of generations. John Lennon, same thing. He stayed in ego mind, had ego mind considerations, ego mind strikebacks, ego mind squaring and this and that. Like I say, it's okay, fine, you did some good stuff. You really did. But when you all you are in the midst and at the end of that is still an ego mind, fighting ego mind wars in stupid ways, what do you got? Okay, fine, you've done some great creative things, but you stayed an ego, silly, stupid mind, and I'm unimpressed. I really am. I'm not impressed with anybody who's done great things, never have been. I want to know their aura. I want to know their energy. I want to know their heart-centeredness. That's what I want to know. Have you grown into that? Are you a loving, kind person that wants to do real good in the world? That's what I pay attention to. That's what I see as greatness, not accomplishments, really, seriously. Although, there are wonderful things you could accomplish and things like that. Okay, so when I say unwind the mind, unwind the hypnotization and addiction we have to the 3D illusion, and the delusions we create, all these things are going to come into play. And this is just an introduction as we get further into these mental magnetizations that we're going to have to take apart and no longer associate ourselves with them. Okay, that's going to be it. Funny thought of the day. I had to get to work. The girl I was living with at the time some years ago was in the bathroom. And so I had so I go over there. I kind of jar the door. She's in there. I go, oh, God dang, man. You got to be done. You got to be done, because I just don't see how it gets any more beautiful than this. I think your work is done here. You can't be more beautiful than you are now. That's what I said to her, and she laughed. I laughed, and it was really a clever thing to do. Okay, that's it. My name is Jeff Africa. I'm a citizen of Earth, loyal patriot of the United States of America, and I stand unafraid. And these four, Mother Earth, Divine Mother, Paramahansa Yogananda, and Jeshua Ben Joseph, these four I've chosen to help me get to this new reality, this new heart-centered reality, okay? And I love these. I love these people. These are the people that have gone where I want to go, okay? They are the ones that have a new beingness about them, the new beingness of the 5D world. And they're going to help me. They're going to see to it that as I do this right in front of you, and you're going to see the difference, they're going to make sure that happens. I cannot fail with their backing. I really can't. So we all have that to look forward to. We all have you watching me become a heart-centered human being, and I'm going to see how I've changed when that happens. And all these things I've been doing are leading me right to that new heart-centered reality. Okay, so I think that's it for now. I hope that was a good one. It sounds good to me. And I'll be seeing you again. Once again, this is the first one we've really had, and the idea of being magnetized to that mind that keeps us from falling from that heart. See, demagnetize, magnetize, drop in that heart, and live that heart-centered reality where you're drinking in life. Okay, each and every moment, each and every second, you're drinking in the perceptions of life, the experience of life through that heart chakra. And it's such a precious, the moment almost has a special texture to it. It's like gold. It's like honey from God. That momentary special texture, and there's nothing like it, okay? I've experienced it, and that's where we're going. So thanks for listening. Thanks very much, and I'll be talking to you soon.